Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. I hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below, and also at the top of the chat. Shout out for other traders, shout out for myself. You can share ideas there, see what other people are looking at, and of course, you can learn a little bit more about Elevating Traders if you are interested. So make sure you go check it out. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, good Friday. I hope everyone is well. Welcome to the stream, John. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. What's up, Tashi? Good morning. Hope you're well. Ahmed, same to you. Hope you're doing good. Ross, what's up? Good morning. Thoughts on chart posting tariffs used? Yeah, I was wondering why that happened, to be fair. Why CAD was going crazy, but to be honest, I think it's time to kind of keep up with Trump and his tweets now, because he's going to cause some ruckus in the markets. But to be fair, from a point of view for my trading, I'm just going to see what the price action gives us. I mean, with the wick, it is pretty ugly, so I'm kind of waiting for price action to settle, see what happens. But yeah. I mean, I'm just going to see what happens as everything develops. At the moment, I'm not really interested in trading CAD at the moment. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. GJ, we'll take a look. Perfect. Okay, nice. Okay, we'll take a look at that position as well. John, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Yeah. I think just generally speaking, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens whilst Trump's in power. I think there's going to be a lot of volatile moves. Yusuf, good morning. Hope you're doing good. I'm well. Now looking for a possible re-entry. Okay, cool. Nice. What's up, FX Wolf? Hope you're well. Looking for pound Aussie. Okay, looking to long pound Aussie. Still waiting for a fib level retest. Okay, we'll take a look. So first things first, I'll go through the DXY. Talk about USD pairs, take a look at gold and silver, and then I'll go through some requests and see what you guys are looking at. Go through some CAD pairs, take a look at pound Aussie as well, take a look at pound yen for Darkshon as well. And of course, any other requests, drop it down in the chat and we'll take a look together. But in terms of the dollar, this one again hasn't really moved too much this week. Generally speaking, it's been pretty much consolidation. This is the price action we had this week. This is the gap we had at the start of the week, and you can see prices pretty much just stayed within that area. So again, the plan for the dollar has been the same since the start of the year, which is, of course, the massive breakout on the weekly chart, taking out highs here. So essentially, as long as price stays above this high, I retain that bullish bias, looking for a possible move for a move back to 113, and that's still very much the case. At the moment we do crack underneath this level, I will look to reinvestigate and probably change that bias and probably talk about some sells. At the moment, we are still holding. This week, we talked about this area here on the 4-hour chart as an area where price might bounce from, and we have seen a bit of a reaction. And looks like price, of course, we had that gap. It hasn't really gone anywhere since then, but potentially might be trying to break to the upside. Not quite sold yet because, again, we haven't really seen the breakout. Still leaving behind a bit of a wick there. We could very much sell off in the afternoon. So overall, it's been a bit of a choppy week. Still waiting for price to really show momentum in that direction, to really show, okay, the buyers are stepping in and we're possibly looking for the next high low, because the plan for the dollar is still high, higher low, higher high, and possibly another higher low forming here for a continuation, at least back to where we came from, which is back at the high there at 110. So didn't mean to do that. Back at the high there at 110. So yeah, very, very bullish on USD as we're above that weekly level. Price action not looking particularly great in terms of entries. Well, I'm not necessarily looking to trade the DXY, but I'll get to Euro USD and pound and the other USD pairs in a moment. But I was looking to see if we can come back down a little bit deeper, possibly test that area for a double bottom and then a continuation. But unfortunately, looks like we're kind of just stuck in this range and maybe we break to the upside. But I am still looking for upside, and that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, because if we do break to the upside, there could be some nice pullbacks early next week to ride that momentum higher. So you might not necessarily see that retest, but there may be opportunities higher up for the dollar to get involved if we do see a continuation with that bullish momentum. And Euro USD pretty much looking at the exact opposite. So again, I was looking for Euro to come back into the high here for another retest. Again, possibly a lower high or an equal high. And then again, looking for the shorts, again, possibly back to that low, or at least that's where I'll be targeting. Again, we had that lovely swing high back over here just after we created that lower low. So lower low, lower high, and again, a new lower low. So the plan is, can we put another lower high in this bearish sequence and continue back to the lows? It looks like that could be the case, especially if dollar's going to continue flying. Then Euro USD's got a pretty good chance of falling as well. So again, we might not necessarily see that push there for Euro. I'm not going to rule that out completely, but at this moment in time, things are still looking pretty bearish. So we might, again, break the downside, see some kind of more intraday pullbacks during next week. And there could be some really nice opportunities on some pullbacks, retest, and looking to ride that momentum back into the lows there. So everything for Euro is still very bearish. Like scan to the higher time frames, looking at the daily, weekly chart, still below major areas of support, of course, acting as resistance. So as long as that stays true and we don't start breaking above that, that will keep me bearish for Euro. And again, we still could be talking about a swing all the way back to the lows there as well. So pretty bearish for Euro USD. I think the next best opportunity for this one, if we don't see the push back to the high for a retest, then it probably is just going to be some more intraday setups on some pullbacks to ride that back into the lows there. Pound USD, kind of the same situation as well. I mean, in terms of the bias, the same situation really. Again, you've got the prior swing low down here. You've got the lower high over there, lower low. So again, looking for the continuation of this move. So treating that as the pullback for another move back down. And pound USD did come back into a really nice level at 1.25. And I was looking to see again if pound USD can come up, retest the area and get the sell. And that still very much could be the case because pound USD is a little bit flat right now, trapped between support and resistance. So something like that could very much happen. Probably not today, as in all that happened today. That probably might take 2 or 3 days to happen. So probably sometime next week, but that's still an opportunity I'm definitely considering there for pound USD. And again, if everything does go pretty well, could see pound USD end up right back at these lows. Again, if I scoot to the higher time frames, the daily chart in particular, you can see we have broken through that ascending channel, which has kept the market bullish for some time. And since we've broken through that, we've been pretty consistent with these lower highs. 1, 2, 3, looking for number 4, and then a big swing to the lows there. So that's very much the plan with pound USD. And as long as we don't go break structure, that's exactly where I expect price to end up. And again, if we don't see that push back to 1.25, again, something like this will look pretty good for next week. Impulse down, some type of lower time frame correction, and then you see the market continue. So that's probably what you're going to be eyeing up next week, maybe on the retest of that same range. But of course, we'll get into the details next week as we continue. But for now, that's kind of what we're considering there for pound USD. Now for dollar CAD, again, of course, it's another USD pair. The main focus with dollar CAD, of course, it might be CAD over the past 24 hours, but for me, USD is still the main driver. So if I do have a bullish bias in USD, I'm still looking to take advantage of buys in dollar CAD. Kind of regardless of what CAD is doing. Of course, if there's a good setup, I'll take it. If it's not quite there, I won't take it. But it looks like price has tried to break to the upside and didn't do such a good job, especially for the wicks there. Was sort of trading above it, but not in a convincing manner. So I'm not going to get too excited about the price action. If price does want to break to the upside, I want to see kind of this wick there on that candle fill. And then that will give me the confidence to start looking for some pullbacks and continuations. Again, for dollar CAD, I've been talking about the 1.46 level, which is a massive level of weekly resistance. You can see really 2 big rejections of this area, and I'm looking to see if we can get a third, and we're not too far away. So in a couple of weeks, we could be very much trading at that same level. So the way I see dollar CAD right now is I'm expecting a lot more upsides, and if you can get price to go fill that wick, looking for some pullbacks and then some more upside. Likewise, if we do break to the downside, there's opportunities to take this lower. We still do have that massive weekly resistance, which will be turned support down here, which we could see price go and get a retest of as well. So, if we do suddenly turn around, which is a good possibility, we've done that a few times. You can see massive wick, price turned around straight away. Could see that happen again. If you do end up breaking to the downside, then that's something I'm after, and a push back to 1.395. But we'll see if we can fill that wick there, and possibly could be looking at a bullish dollar CAD there. In terms of Aussie dollar, again, very bearish on this one, slowly rolling to the downside here in a very corrective manner there. I would be looking at another push back to the high there for at least for me to look for any entries, because I'm not going to be looking for any entries down there. I'm still looking to see if we can get a retest of the daily level here on the left, but as price continues bearish, it looks less and less likely that we will see that bigger move into that level. And as I drop to the 4-hour chart, this level does look pretty good for sure if price does see a move up there. But again, the longer we kind of continue in this kind of corrective manner, the less likely we are to see that retracement, and probably just going to go and take out those lows there. But in terms of the direction, very bearish for Aussie dollar. Again, with the bullish bias on USD, that kind of by default makes me bearish on a lot of these USD majors: pound, euro, Aussie, New Zealand dollar, of course, dollar CAD and dollar CHF. Would be bullish, but for Aussie dollar, naturally expecting more downside. So kind of keeping an eye on this area here. Again, nowhere near that. So if it is going to be an opportunity, it's probably one for next week. And still looking for opportunities up at that level as well, should we see the move. But in terms of the direction, expecting these lows to be taken out pretty soon. In terms of NZD USD, kind of the same situation as Aussie dollar. I still like the high here. If price was to come back up, respect that area. I do think that's a nice place for a short. And again, see if we can swing it back to the low. I still expect levels on the weekly chart to be taken out for New Zealand dollar. I do think we're due to take out this low here, and that's from COVID, and this low here from 2022 as well. I do think we're probably going to take out those levels pretty soon. So it's just about how far do we pull back before we go and take out those lows. That's the kind of the big question I have for New Zealand dollar. At the moment, I do like these two daily levels again, but we haven't really seen much of a sign of us getting close to those areas. So my focus is a little bit more on this area. I think that's a bit more reasonable for price to get to. If we do see price have a bigger move, then of course these areas I will be looking to trade from as well. Once we get closer, I'll start to speak a little bit more about them. But for now, let's see if we can potentially get a retest of the high there, 0.572. And if everything goes well, we can swing it back to the low, and maybe to go and take out those lows for 2022 and 2020. Or was that 2019? COVID lows, yeah, 2020, because it was March. So yeah, that's kind of the plan there for New Zealand dollar. In terms of gold and silver, so gold, I'm pretty sure created new all-time highs yesterday. As you can see, very, very bullish market, and our prior all-time highs were here on the left. And yes, we did. We created new all-time highs. Did we spike into 2,800 just about? And we were talking a lot about that price yesterday, because once we do take out the all-time highs, we got that big psychological level just ahead of us at 2,800. So likely going to see price react from that. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that I expect price to now sell off, but we might pause a little bit, and then potentially might even see some new highs as well. But gold, in terms of the trend, in terms of the analysis, is just very, very bullish market. You look at the monthly chart, extremely bullish. You look at the intraday time frames, extremely bullish pretty much. So this is a market which, you kind of want to focus on the buys in general. Yes, there will be some short-term selling opportunities, but not going to last too long, especially in these conditions. So again, the plan for gold is just waiting for kind of another pullback for this one. There's a lot of momentum in the market, so we might see a bit of a correction like this, and then we might just see a continuation off the back of that. So like a kind of bull flag opportunity. I mean, it would be nice for price to come back and retest some levels down there. But again, that's probably an opportunity more for next week anyway. I think the buys off the 27.20 level still looks good. Should price get back there again? So that's still something I would look at. But we'll see if we can get there. The market is naturally bullish, so I just expect more highs To be honest, still a lot of momentum in the market. In terms of silver, same situation with this one, starting to pick up the pace a little bit. And that's what I've been saying with gold and silver. Silver's been lagging behind gold so much that I do expect it to kind of pick up the pace and do some catching up. And we had a really bullish day yesterday, breaking through the highs there very well. And it looks like we're getting kind of what we were talking about yesterday. I said things still look very corrective in here, but if you do get some newfound bullish momentum, we break the highs aggressively, that will start to attract me into some trades. And if we can get a nice correction, possibly a retest of this area, that's something I'll look at for some entries. I'd watch out for the high here. But I do expect us to eventually get back to the high there, just like what gold's doing, breaking through the all-time highs. I expect silver to do that eventually, although we're very far away from that. All-time highs are still... Where are we? Let me go to the daily chart. There we go. All-time highs are still all over there around 50. So silver's got a lot of catching up to do if it wants to do what gold's doing. But I do expect it to do so. It's just going to take some time. So yeah, just looking for the buys right now. Price has been pretty consistent with the higher lows. Nice double bottom down there. And then we're printing higher lows. So the plan is let's find the next one. At least trade it back to the highs here around 32. But the bigger move is I'm looking for a continuation there. So really just looking for pullbacks, more upside along the way. And yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD, most of the USD pairs anyway, gold and silver, very, very bullish on them. And again, even with the bullish bias on USD, gold and silver can still be bullish too. They can just be stronger than USD. So just because I am bullish on that doesn't mean necessarily I'll be looking for the inverse. Anyway, we'll go through some of the requests. We'll take a look at some CAD pairs as well. Okay, so we'll go through pound Aussie and pound yen as well. What's up, Alex? Good morning. Hope you're well. What's up, Brian? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Gold, US30, NAS. Okay, we'll go through some indices as well. What's up, Rex? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you are well. So I'll take a look at pound yen. We'll go through pound Aussie. And then we'll go through some CAD pairs and we'll go through some indices as well. So pound yen, Darkshine, you said you got some shorts for this one on the lower time frame. And if I'm not mistaken, you said you're looking for some re-entries. In the last bearish leg, the H1 time frame. Okay, on the H1 and previous level on the 5-minute. Okay, so I'm guessing this is the leg you caught. Let me know if I'm mistaken. We did come back into the high there. If I go to the hourly chart, is this the fib level you're talking about? Back into the 0.5, 0.618? Not quite there. I mean, close. Yeah, I'm not too sure which again, that's always the tricky part about fib, because you can draw the fib in so many different ways and some people just use it differently. But yeah, it was a nice move this morning. Very bullish yesterday, last night as well. Very big move. Are you still looking to take sells? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the current price action, to be honest, with pound yen. It still looks a little bit choppy. I mean, we have formed some nice lower highs in fairness, which is great. But we are still struggling to see some conviction to the downside. And what I mean by that is just price kind of breaking the lows a little bit more aggressively. We broke the lows there and we came straight back up. And this time we haven't broken through the lows yet either, potentially forming a higher low. So it's a market kind of moving in a bit of a channel. And at some point, we probably might see a move to the upside there for pound yen. There was a nice move to the downside this morning, a lot of momentum, but we're seeing a pretty strong push back up again. So again, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to the moon, but it doesn't look as attractive as it was doing earlier on. So I would watch out for that. But yeah, congrats on the position. I'll take a look at pound yen on the higher time frames in a second. Let me just go to pound Aussie. FX Wolf, you said you're looking to long pound Aussie, still waiting for a fib level retest. Okay, so I'd imagine you're probably drawing your fib from the lows here to the high. Let me know if you're drawing it slightly differently, let me know. But I would imagine you're probably looking for some fib levels down there around the 1.98, 1.975 mark for pound Aussie. I've been pretty bullish on pound Aussie, but I've unfortunately missed the move on both pound Aussie and pound NZD. I had a couple levels on the daily chart drawn up for both of them, and they kind of just both missed it just before absolutely flying to the upside. So as you can see, this is the level I was looking to buy from 1.955, and unfortunately price just missed it, and now we're looking very, very bullish. And again, the plan was just to find that next higher low. We had one down there, kind of second and third there, fourth, fifth, and looking for number six. Unfortunately, price kind of just missed that level. So if price did get there, hopefully I would have found my entries, but of course we didn't. So I stayed out of the market. It's always important just to wait for your opportunities to come, especially if you know that you'll get enough opportunities within a given year to see the results you want to see. That kind of gives you the trust that you're kind of just waiting for your setups to come, and there's no need to try and catch setups that aren't really part of your plan, because if you stick to your plan, you have more than enough setups to attain the goals you want to attain. Excuse me. Okay, the retest the 5-minute resistance, so it makes sense. Yeah, sure, you can drop a pick on Discord. But yeah, I mean, with the fib and like trend lines and even support and resistance as well, excuse me, they are subjective technical tools. And that's the thing about discretionary technical analysis. People can be trading the same concepts, but slightly differently, draw the trend line slightly differently, draw their support and resistance slightly differently, supply and demand slightly differently, focus on different areas slightly differently as well. So the key thing about trading is making sure you're kind of practicing and training yourself to how to use them, because someone could teach you something and you might use it slightly differently. That might actually give you better results than the way they're using. It's not very it's not like one blanket fits all. It's a very kind of self I don't know how to phrase it, but yeah, it's something that you have to spend time with and learn the way you want to trade, because at the end of the day, it's just you, yourself, and your trading account. But there's so many ways to do the exact same thing. Have you posted it on the Discord? Okay, you have. Okay, you drew it from the high there to the low. Okay, I see. I think as well, okay, because you're using Oanda as well. So I think because I was using FXCM, the wick didn't quite hit the 0.618, whereas on Oanda looks like it's done that. And that's the thing as well, using different brokers will show you different information. But yeah, I mean, really nice reaction. You still looking to take shorts, Darksham? For anyone not in the Discord, feel free to check it out. Link in the description below. You can share ideas there. If you want to, I share ideas as well. What's up, Wonder Dingo? Wonder Dino, sorry. Hope you're well. The name made me laugh. Anyway, so yeah, pound Aussie, you said you're looking to long on a pullback, FX Wolf. Yeah, I don't mind pound Aussie. I mean, if the trend does continue, then I'm looking for a push back to the high at 2.024. So if we are going to continue the trend, then that's most likely where we're going to end up. In terms of pullbacks, again, the only level that I would like to see a retest of would be the range. So for example, this is a nice fib from that low to the high. I like it because it's very impulsive as well, but I don't really have much confidence lining up with the 50 or the 0.618. It's more so down at 0.786 level. So although it would be nice to see a pullback to retest the 50, at least I know that the pullback's healthy. In terms of a nice place for a buy, it would be the consolidation, because that's where all the momentum came from. There's no other convincing level as I look to the left that does pique my interest. So For pound Aussie, it would be nice to see a pullback to this area. Of course, would we see a pullback that big? We'll find out if it happens or not. But that's really where I would want to find some entries. And again, if everything does go well, we could be seeing price have a really big swing back to the high there. Or again, you could at least target something like that as well. It doesn't have to be all the way at the extreme. But yeah, pound Aussie does look pretty bullish. Okay, so I'll go through the indices, take a look at US 30 and NAS for Alex, and we'll go through some CAD pairs as well. Dollar CHF, Ross will take a look, no problem. Pound USD looks bearish and flow chart, but has some time. Okay, I'll go take a look at pound as well. Lighton, what's up? Loving the setups. Do you yes, I do every weekday, Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. But appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads, because you will be notified. But I appreciate that, Light. And yeah, I'm live every weekday. Okay, so let me go through the indices and then we'll go through the CAD pairs. So yeah, is it making your some highs? Ooh, not quite. Looks like we're about to though. We're very close to. So the market's probably going to do that by some point today. We're going to take up the highs. So yeah, as I've been saying, just looking for pullbacks really. When the indices are in this mode, US 30, S&P, NAS, when they're in this mode of a bullish trend, seeing aggressive momentum, the play is only looking for buys really, just looking for the intraday pullbacks and looking to find pullbacks to ride that momentum. Taking sells, sure, you might be able to take a quick short opportunity, but I wouldn't really advise that because you're not going to see much downside. Of course, once these highs are broken through, you might see a bit more downside because naturally speaking, the pullbacks will be a bit heavier because now our all-time highs. You would generally see some profit taking from the buyers because if you imagine anyone who bought down here, it's probably not going to look to take any profit until it gets back to the all-time high, most likely. So now that we are doing that, probably you will see some buyers closing position and just naturally see some sellers jumping into the market. So the pullbacks probably will be a bit more aggressive, just like what we had here, just like what we had here, just like we had here, because of course, they're at new all-time highs as well. So now that it looks like US 30 is about to go and take out the highs, I wouldn't really advise to be looking for any buys unless you're dropping right down to the lower time frames, like 5 minute, and you're kind of just looking for very short-term buys. Then yeah, if you're looking for anything like hourly chart and above, I would advise probably not to. Let's see how price reacts with the high, whether we come straight back down or we break straight through, and then there might be some nice pullbacks to look to work with. But that'll be a setup more for next week. So once we get a bit more information, a bit more price action, I can give you probably some setups to look at. But right now, I just want to see how price does react with that high, because we could, of course, sell off a little bit, and that will make things a little bit interesting. But if you can break through, looking at some corrections, and just again another push to the upside. In terms of NAS 100, this one as well, I'd imagine looking okay. Looks like we're filling out that gap as well. So again, that's the gap from the start of the week. I said potentially by Friday we might close that gap and fill that gap, and looks like we might be seeing that happen. We're not too far away from completely filling that. I'd probably imagine by the end of the day we probably would have done that by now. So 21,700 probably will see price push in that direction. So again, I would say again for NAS 100 from a low time frame perspective, everything still looks really bullish to me. So again, some more corrections, possibly another buy back down at that low looks good. Retest some areas of support and go and fill that gap again, maybe by the end of the day, but that's the direction I expect price to push into. We can always go fill it early on next week. Doesn't have to be by Friday. But yeah, I do expect that gap to fill. I do expect eventually NAS to be back at the all-time highs at 22,100 there. So I still expect more upside. Yesterday I was talking about some longs actually from the retest of this area here. which did play out pretty well, but I think we had that aggressive, we had that aggressive sell. So it might have been a bit difficult to catch. But yeah, it looks like NAS is slowly pushing up. US 30 slowly pushing up. And I would imagine S&P, yeah, slowly pushing up as well. Has it filled the gap? Yes, it has. So yeah, we're probably going to push back to the highs now. Maybe a bit of a correction at some point because we are still looking very, very corrective here. So we might see a bit of a pullback. But yeah, I would expect S&P to push back into the highs as well. So yeah, very, very bullish on the indices. We'll go through some CAD pairs. We'll take a look at dollar CHF. Looking for long opportunity. Okay, we'll have a look. See. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. Bullish on the DXY for our time frame to 108.5. Okay, we'll have a look. See as well. Philip, bias on BTC. Okay, I'll take a look at that one. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I'm well. I'm well. Hope you're doing fine. Okay, so we'll go through a few of the CAD pairs, so and pound USD as well, before I forget. So yeah, CAD was on fire yesterday. We did see a lot of weakness for CAD, and of course that caused a lot of CAD pairs to shoot to the upside. Euro CAD, dollar CAD, pound CAD, you name it. Of course, CAD yen had a bit of a spike to the downside, but Euro CAD here, big spike up. Again, it hasn't really seen too much afterwards. It was a big spike to the upside, but we haven't really seen price go and fill that wick or kind of really pull away. Because what you would normally see is price, create a big wick and then it will start tanking in the opposite direction, or it would create the wick and then it would just go and eventually go fill that wick, which might be the case here for dollar with the CAD pairs. The fact that we haven't sold off yet kind of gives me the impression that we probably will see price slowly go fill that wick and go and take out this high probably at some point next week. So I kind of do expect that to happen with a few of these CAD pairs. I'm looking at EuroCAD right now, especially on the daily chart. There is a big level of resistance above us, but we might be looking to go and break through it. So I do think we'll probably go get a deeper retest of that area. Maybe we do sell off next week at some point, but I do think we'll probably go and fill that wick there. Pound CAD, same situation there as well. I do think we'll probably get a deeper test of this level of resistance as well and probably go fill that wick. And then maybe we do take a bit of a dive or maybe we'll break through, but I probably expect us to go fill that wick to go and test that level deeper, especially when you do have a level of support or resistance in the market and you see price kind of wick just to tap into it. Normally it does go and fill it afterwards. It's the wicks you get where it kind of pierces through the level and then pulls back up. Those are the ones that normally indicate rejection and price is about to turn around. So I do think we probably will go fill that wick and have another retest of that zone. In terms of New Zealand CADs, I'm still pretty bearish with this one, but I haven't really got a setup just yet. I said I was looking for price to get back to the high and retest it. And we have seen that, but now I need to see some momentum as well. Right now we're looking pretty bullish, but if we can get there, see some rejection, I wouldn't mind some shorts there for a big double top and possibly a big sell back to the lows there. Just looking for the continuation of this bearish trend here. So that is still very much the plan. High, lower high, lower high, looking for the next one. Another swing back to the low. So that's very much the plan with New Zealand CAD as well. But at the moment, it probably looks like we'll see a bit more CAD weakness and probably see pound CAD, Euro CAD, maybe dollar CAD as well. Probably make a move to the upside there. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the CAD pairs, but crazy moves yesterday. We'll take a look at dollar CHF, pound USD, and we'll take a look at the dollar as well, the DXY. So with USD CHF, Ross, you said you're looking for a long position, long opportunity. Now I'm pretty bullish on USD, but I'm not a big fan of buying dollar CHF just because of where we are. So the bias for me for dollar CHF is kind of bullish because of my DXY bullish bias as well. Oh, what am I doing? But I can't be looking to buy dollar CHF because of where we're situated. Massive, massive resistance here on the weekly chart. If anything, we could have a really big sell-off to the downside, which doesn't really align with my dollar bias. But, the technicals are not necessarily quite bullish at the moment. I mean, I know we've had a bullish trend here, but we're coming into a brick wall right now, which we've failed to break through in the past two attempts. One over there, second over there. Who's to say we can't do it a third time? The moment we do see dollar CHF creep above the highs here, then yes, we could be on for a really big move. At that point, I'll be very, very bullish on dollar CHF. But of course, we haven't done that quite yet. So in terms of the buys, it does look good, but we have to be wary of resistance just above us there. In terms of the low time frames, looks like we are just about breaking through the high here on the left. So that's a nice sign that we could be seeing more upside. So I would suggest we probably will get a bit of a correction at some point, and maybe a bit of a continuation. Maybe price will come and retest some areas around here. Strong resistance to give us a really big sell to the downside. Now we flipped to support, and that could take us back to the upside again. Overall, price action is very corrective, so I'm not a big fan of it, but I kind of do like the V-shaped pattern here because you had a big impulse down, impulse up, which again normally does indicate reversal. And now we're kind of seeing the fulfillment of that buy. So pullbacks look good. I would just watch out for that level just above us. I would say if you can target possibly back to that high there, I think you're in a safe place because very much we could sell off from anywhere. Being coming into that weekly level. So long opportunities look good intraday. I would wait for some type of pullback, but as we do approach 0.915, I would start to be a bit careful. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar CHF. We'll go through pound USD next. We'll go for pound USD next, then dollar and BTC as well. What's up, Roadway? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. What's up, Holy1? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Okay, let me go through pound USD. So you said you're looking to short pound USD? Nope, you just said, okay, pound USD looks bearish on the 4-hour bar, has been ranging for some time. I agree. It does look pretty bearish on the 4-hour chart. If you look at the major swings of the market, 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 there. So the market is in a bearish trajectory right now. And personally, I do still see more downside. There's no evidence of this turning around just yet, at least from a technical point of view. Yes, we've seen a nice move to the upside, but it's been predominantly pretty corrective, hasn't taken out any major structure. We've got a few highs here, which is still very much intact. So it hasn't really given me any indication that we're about to turn around. So I do expect us to see a bit of a drop here and expecting price to push back into the lows. So pretty bearish for pound USD. You're right, we have been consolidating, so we haven't really seen much movement. But in fairness, dollar, we'll take a look at the DXY in a second, but dollar's been consolidating the whole week as well. So for most USD pairs, we haven't actually seen much movement apart from maybe Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar have been a little bit bearish. I think that's more to do with Aussie and New Zealand dollar rather than USD, but pound USD has been pretty flat. But for next week, if we do see some continuation to the downside, there could be some nice pullbacks, possibly on the retest of that same range. And there could be some really nice intraday setups to, ride this back into the lows and take advantage of that momentum. I'm still looking to see if we can get that double top and then the short. I'm kind of looking to see if I can situate myself up here at the highs, stop loss above them, and see if I can capitalize on a nice swing to the downside. The risk reward looks very, very good here. Should it play out? I mean, it says 1 to 7 there. Probably won't be as big as that because I have to take into account my candlestick entry, but it should be a positive risk reward at least. So I know it's going to be worthwhile. So if it does play out, could be looking at a healthy return there, and it's coming into a very sensible place as well, retesting some price support, as we can see once, twice, and now be flipped as resistance. So as long as we can respect that area, I will keep that bearish bias for pound USD. So I do agree with you, but yeah, we have been a bit choppy. So it's either we break to the upside, get that retest, then the sells, or we just break to the downside and start to look for some more intraday pullbacks. Either which way, the main focus is really on shorting pound USD. In terms of the dollar, which again, looking for some upside, but we've been pretty flat. most of the week. This is where we gapped from. So we finished last week over here, gap to the upside, and that has pretty much been the range of the week. There's your lows, there's your highs. We haven't gone anywhere. I know today is still active and potentially might still be trading up at the highs there, which would be great. But more or less has been pretty flat there for dollar. But yeah, in terms of the market structure, we had the high, higher low, higher high. So again, the plan is, can we find the next higher low to swing it back to the highs? It looks like that could be slowly taking shape. But in terms of entries, in terms of the setup, I did say it would be nice if dollar was to push back down for the low and then the push. Otherwise, if we can just break to the upside, I think pullbacks will look good, similar to what we just said for pound USD. A nice break of the range and look for some pullbacks on the way up. And that could be some really nice opportunities for dollar back to 110, which is the high over there. So yeah, pound USD expecting a sell-off and DXY expecting a rise. If we do see that happen, you should see the synchronicity between the two, Euro USD as well. So it's a positive sign. But in terms of opportunities, I don't really see anything now until we can clear the range or come back for a retest of 107. CS integrated, you're bullish with DXY 4-hour time frame to 108.5, which is just above us there. So yeah, I mean, I do expect us to push higher. I mean, we're stuck at resistance at the moment, so we do need to clear that, which is the high there. But I do expect us to eventually do that, whether we have a bit of a pullback first, then make the move, or just explode to the upside. Do we have news today for the dollar? We might have some minor news. Let me just double check. Okay, so we got PCE today for the dollar at 130, but that's about it. So yeah, not major news. It is still red folder, so something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I'm not necessarily sure how much of movement we'll see. We had the Fed interest rate this week, and it barely looks like we had any decision this week. So even the big hitters haven't had big hits. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the USD. Okay, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin, and we'll start to go through some of the yen pairs. If I have missed out a pair someone's requested, let me know in the chat, and I'll take a look at it. But Bitcoin, Philip, did you say you were trading Bitcoin yesterday? I can't remember if it was you or someone else. Someone said they were trading Bitcoin. So yeah, with Bitcoin, again, still very bullish. I like looking at the higher time frames for Bitcoin, because it put things into perspective. Sometimes you do get a little bit too wrapped up in the intraday movements. Yeah, especially the weekly chart kind of puts things into perspective really well. We had a nice consolidation there, really healthy break to the upside. It looks like we're going through the same situation here as well. Bit of a consolidation. Maybe we might swing to the downside again, but the chance of this happening is pretty high. And even if we do break to the downside, it's most likely for a retest, collect some more buyers for more upside as well. So Bitcoin is likely to keep pushing up, at least from a technical standpoint. But of course, right now we are in a range, so it's just about timing. Do we break on this attempt, or do we push back down again? No one really does know until it does happen. So with Bitcoin right now, we're coming to resistance. We're respecting it still. We're not really seeing much momentum as well. We did have some nice force pushing up, but we've been respecting the high numerous times. We're seeing a lot of wicks. Even yesterday's candle as well left a bit of a wick to the upside, and we're not really seeing much momentum, even with the rejection we had in the past couple of days. So with Bitcoin, I do think the likely move for this one is probably another rollover back into 92K. So if you are looking for shorts, I think it does look pretty good. If you're looking for buys, then there's two setups I would wait to happen. Either price break the high and then look for some pullbacks afterwards, or we do push back to the low of the range and then look for some buys there. Either way, you're in a nice area where, if price does turn around here, you can at least trade the range back to the high. And of course, if you catch the breakout, could catch a really big move. I would say keep an eye on 120K as the next big psychological level. So yeah, Bitcoin very, very bullish on. I do see price pushing forward. Okay, you are in a position. I think you said you were buying, weren't you? Somewhere down at that wick, I'm pretty sure, or was it around there? Um, but yeah, I'm pretty bullish on pound USD, not pound USD. Sorry, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but we're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. So we kind of need to break free of that. And once we do, yeah, I think 120 will probably be our next stop, around there somewhere. And who knows, maybe even further as well. But as we come into resistance, especially with that lack of momentum, that does worry me. So I do think actually the next likely move is probably a push down, or maybe at least a push back down to support here. Maybe not all the way to 92K, but maybe at least a push back to this area. And maybe we break from there. But it's not looking likely that will break the high just yet, unless maybe Trump says something, or you know, maybe Elon Musk says something, then maybe the markets get excited. But in terms of pure technicals, we're lacking momentum. So unless that comes from somewhere else, probably going to roll over. Anyway, let me go through the yen pairs. So with pound yen, this is one I said I actually do like, but I wanted to see price retest the high there for some shorts, because we're coming into an area where we could form the next higher low. I'll take a look at the yen basket as well towards the end, but you can see this is my main worry with pound yen is all of these high lows the market is been printing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, are we going to print number 5? We've been printing lower highs as well. 1, kind of 2 there as well, maybe in 3 there as well. So the market has kind of been constricting together and looks like it's getting ready for a big move at some point in time. Again, the big move I'm looking for is still very much something like this, but I don't know necessarily if we will make a move up first, then the move, or kind of just going to get ready to break out anyway. Either way, in terms of a trade idea, this is something I do like. The retest of the high there, because at least I can find some entries with a decent stop and probably get to a point where I can look to lock in some gains, maybe back at a low. And in case price does form that next high low and goes against me, I should be able to at least trail my stop loss, or at least be break even at that point. And if we do move to the upside, I do like the highs over here on the left at 199.6. If we were to see a really big move back to the highs there, that looks like a great place to short from. Nice stop loss above the high. And again, risk reward looks very, very attractive back down to the lows. So I'm pretty bearish on pound yen long term. Looks like we're starting to see some signs that maybe momentum is kicking in bearish. I'm not quite convinced yet. It still looks pretty corrective on the 4-hour chart, but things are starting to pick up the pace a little bit. In terms of euro yen, I'm pretty bearish on this one as well. We did see some nice downside momentum yesterday, but we're approaching some support, which looks like price has had a lot of trouble at in the past. So as you can see, support once, twice, a third time, and now there again. So this is kind of what I've been talking about, the range here for euro yen, equal lows, not really equal highs, but resistance in that area. So it hasn't been particularly great, the price action. And if euro yen does go and break support here and does it well, then that would be the indication I need to say that, okay, euro yen's bearish again. We're probably going to push back into the lows here, probably going to push back into the lows down here, and probably go a lot further as well. So I do fancy euro yen again to break to the downside. I'm still looking at this as a big impulse correction, and kind of consider this as a big head and shoulder pattern as well. So that's still really what I'm looking at. And of course, this will be your neckline of the pattern. I do expect it to break lower. So euro yen, very, very bearish as well. And in terms of opportunities, this is something that would get me excited about some opportunities right now at support. And for all I know, we could reject this very well and see another move like that, which is just something I'm not interested in at the moment. But yeah, if that high time frame bias is going to come into fruition, we do need to start breaking through support. We've tested this 3 times, respected it well. We do need to see price start breaking through it now if we're really going to continue. So that's really what I'm looking for. In terms of CAD JPY, this one had a bit of a move to the downside as well, especially because of the the drama with CAD. So you can see pretty big wick to the upside, to the downside, sorry. Again, with this one, it's still very corrective in this manner. I need price to kind of pick up momentum a little bit better than that. I mean, it was doing so, but left behind a big wick there, which isn't great. So I need price to kind of pick up the momentum again. Overall, it has been pretty corrective, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're back down at support as well. So it's up to what CAD yen does. I feel like if we do break through this, especially if we do it with some strength, there could be some nice shorts afterwards. Because with CAD yen as well, I'm looking for this to be the correction for a big move down. And you can probably look at this as another head and shoulder pattern. Left hedge, right, and of course that being a neckline as well. So I do expect us to break through that eventually and see a pretty big move down. So it's just about timing and finding the entries. Really, at the moment, I'm not really seeing much. Coming back into support, now's not the best time to be shorting. But if you do break through, then okay, maybe something does develop and we do see a pretty big move down. And of course, we got the lows here to target as well. So I do really like the yen pairs for the big swing. There's a lot of room to the downside and looks like they're slowly taking shape. Although I need some big levels to break. I say they're slowly taking shape, but Euro yen still got massive support to break. CAD yen likewise as well. So work needs to be done here. CHF JPY did have a nice move to the downside, I have to admit. It's probably one of the cleaner bearish moves we've seen with the yen pairs. Nice move down. I know we had a bit of a reaction this morning, but there is some signs of momentum coming down. So for CAD yen, the next big level is this low to look at. We've shattered past this area here pretty well. So if Swiss yen was to pull back, that was something that would interest me, especially from a top-down perspective. I do think CHF JPY can really, really fall and possibly take out these lows here as well. So the way I see it, momentum is picking up. Now it looks much, much better in terms of corrections and pullbacks. Too short. The market kept up with the lower highs. We had the equal highs there, lower high, lower high, lower high. So it looks like we're still maintaining that bearish trend. So now the plan is just find that next lower high. Maybe it might come along for the retest of this area. We'll monitor that, see how it goes next week. But yeah, looking for a pullback and a more downside. But this is probably one of the more attractive yen pairs because the momentum was pretty clean. We broke through lows pretty well. We're not directly at support right now as well, which a lot of yen pairs are at the moment, really. So this is why I do like this setup and at least expecting a push to the low here as well. And I do think we kind of do have a bit of a head and shoulder pattern on the higher time frames. Bit of a weirder one, but it does make sense. So you got the left shoulder there, head, right shoulder there as well. So that really is the plan there with CHF JPY. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys, I'm still pretty sure on consolidation. Yes, they are. So Aussie yen, still at the lows of consolidation. Not a bad place for a buy if you're interested. If you're looking to kind of buy low and sell high, and this is kind of the market you want to focus on because it's ranging well, and there's a good chance that we do bounce off the low of the range, and a good chance we do bounce off the high of the range. Again, not really my type of trade. I'm waiting for these guys to break out, and if they can do that, would be absolutely brilliant. Again, looking for pullbacks and trying to catch those shorts. The way I see it happening is a push all the way down there if we do break to the low, and a push all the way back to the high there if we do break to the upside. So it just depends what we do. If we do end up breaking support here, then as I said, just looking for the pullbacks on the way down. If we do break to the upside, looking for the exact same thing, but to the upside. So I do think there'll be good opportunities there. I do think there'll be good opportunities there with Aussie yen. Again, typically when you do have prolonged consolidation, the breakouts could be quite forceful, just like they were with this breakout. So hopefully we can see a repeat of that. As to which way we're going to break out, of course, I'm not really too bothered because the way I see it, there's opportunities in both ways. So kind of just waiting for price to make its move. I know what I'm looking for Aussie yen to do in the long run, which is come back and take out these lows. So even if we do break to the upside, I just expect a high to form for a big sell. If we do break to the downside, I just think we're just going to keep dropping. So the bias is definitely set for me. We'll go through New Zealand yen, dollar yen, and we'll take a look at the yen basket as well. Gideon, what's up? Euro Aussie, okay, we'll take a look as well. No, I'm not Ethiopian. I do get that quite a lot though. I'm not Ethiopian. Unfortunately, to disappoint you there. Let me take a look at New Zealand yen. Okay, so with NZD-JPY, we've got the wick low there, which is at 83.018, and we do have the high here at 92.497. So again, same situation as Aussie yen, waiting for price to clear out the low or clear out the high, and that's essentially what I'm looking for price to do before I look for any opportunities. Same thing with Aussie yen, of course. So again, not really too bothered about which way we break to. The bigger move for me looks like price is likely to take out this low there. Again, massive impulse there in July. This is most likely a correction of that. So I do expect us to do something like that and take out the lows pretty soon. So if that's the case, even if we do break to the upsides, I'll be looking for price to respect this area and come back down. If we do break to the downside, then I just expect us to keep selling off and take out the lows eventually. So either which way, there's opportunities, and it's just a waiting game, really, which is what trading is a lot about: waiting for the right time and then striking when the iron's hot. So yeah, we'll be waiting for something like that, and of course, if you break higher, looking for something like that as well, and then of course the big sell. Can't forget the big sell. That'll be really nice if we catch that, but we'll see. At the moment, we are respecting the low of the range. Like I said, if you're looking for buys, it makes sense. I'm not really looking to try and catch the low or high of the range, but this is the place to do it. There were some nice buys a couple of weeks ago, nice sell from last week. Has played up pretty well, just bouncing from the low and the high. In terms of dollar yen, I said I'm looking for longs for this one. I am still looking at longs, but the price action hasn't been great. I was hoping that we could take out the lows there and spike through, which we didn't quite do yet. Have seen a nice bullish engulfing candle, but it's not really seeing a nice shift in price action, shift in momentum, which is the key thing I'm looking for. It's a strong candle, but the way price is slanted, it's not really giving me a strong indication of price turning around. So if we can develop a little bit more, take out the wick aggressively, give me a strong close, then that's something I'll look to get an entry for. But that candle isn't really as clean as I want it to be. So I'm staying on the sidelines for now. It is in a nice area. It's in the area of confluence where I do expect price to bounce from. And in fairness, we have seen some signs of that happening. In terms of the clarity of the price action for the entry, not quite there. So I'm staying patient right now. For dollar yen, it's in my area where I want to buy, but the price action is not quite ticking my boxes as well as I want it to. So if you can kind of consolidate a little bit, maybe wick through the low a couple times, or just at least once to show that we're failing to break the low, grab liquidity underneath the low there as well, and see a better kind of shift in the candle closure, then that'll be something I'll look to take. But at the moment, not quite there yet. So we'll wait to see if we can get that development over the next few days, really, but nothing quite there for me on dollar yen. And in terms of the yen basket, before I forget, so yeah, yen basket coming to a very important level of resistance. We did kind of break through, but then we closed back below, so it looks like the market is still respecting that same level. I think this is going to be a very pivotal level there. If we do hold this, there could be a really big sell, right back to the lows. If we do break through, then I think that will be the catalyst to get the yen pairs really flying back into that high, then that high up there as well. So if we do break through this, I do think, we'll probably see the yen pair start falling out the sky. Equally, if we do respect it, we probably will see a big swing down. But I am expecting this move here. That is the bigger move I'm expecting. Big impulse, looking at this as a really big correction and a continuation back up. So that is the move I'm looking for. But we need price to kind of really get that breakout above that level, because right now we closed back below, so it's not looking too great right now. But we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the yen pairs. Gideon, yes, I will take a look at Euro Aussie for you, John, and the OPC will take the dollar down, being that we had a weak GDP yesterday. Weaker GDP will take CAD down, considering Trump tariff threat. Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I wouldn't expect to see. I wouldn't expect CAD to see strength off the back of that. I think from a technical point as well, it looks like CAD's probably going to keep weakness up anyway. Because typically when we see wicks like that form, they typically do get filled, and so I do expect them to go fill that wick, which of course would require a pretty weak CAD as well. As for dollar, I'm kind of just waiting to see. Maybe we do see a weaker USD after the PCE. I'll see what the news release does give us. I'm still pretty bullish on the dollar. So if we do push down, I'll probably look at that in terms of retracement for a buy, to be honest. If it does go and break structure, I'll reanalyze and see where we go from there. But I'm still really looking to buy the dollar at the moment, still looking to sell pounds, still looking to sell euro, still looking to sell Aussie and those USD majors. So until I see evidence of that changing on the charts, I won't change the bias just yet. Confirmation that every yen pair apart from UJ for sales, but as you know, I only took one. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's a good confluence in itself, Holy One, because of course correlation is a big thing, especially in the FX markets. If you get a sell confirmation for euro yen, pound yen, CAD yen, Aussie yen, then it's a good sign that the yen pairs are likely to push down if they're all giving you signs of bearish. They're likely to be bearish or bullish. For that matter, it's kind of like a confluence in itself. Because it wouldn't be great if you're getting mixed signals like euro yen's bullish, pound yen's bearish, CAD yen's bullish, Aussie yen's bearish. You want some consistency, and that acts as a confluence. So yeah, and that's actually kind of where I'm at as well. I agree. I think all the yen pairs look really good for big bearish moves, apart from dollar yen. Dollar yen doesn't really look good for a sell. Again, it probably will sell off, to be honest. If the other yen pairs do tank, then dollar yen's probably going to tank as well. But the price action doesn't look like it necessarily will. So it's probably the yen pair that I would stay away from in terms of the sells. Let me go for Euro Aussie. Yeah, same for me as well, Holy One. UJ for me as well is I'm still looking to buy the market. My view is still pretty bullish on UJ as well, but pretty bearish on pretty much all the other yen pairs as well. Which makes you think maybe UJ is not going to be bullish. If all the other yen pairs are bearish, probably dollar yen's probably going to be bearish as well. Anyways, in terms of Euro Aussie, let me know what you're looking at, Gideon. Like I've been saying, I'm not really the biggest fan of this one, to be honest. Very corrective behavior, but looks like we have come back into resistance there, and price has struggled to break through. So there is some slight uptrend here. It looks like price is trying to continue that. Of course, we've got the high of the range, high of the trend up there, but because of where we're trading, we could very much respect this and turn around. If I map out the high and drag it to the left, you can see where we're coming into major resistance. There is still a level up here, which I'll keep a close eye on, which is that swing high there. And of course, you've got the lows there as well. So we have seen some momentum, but it's come back to a pretty sturdy level here of resistance. And if we do break through, then naturally speaking, I expect us to get to the next level, which will be this high at 1.70088. But until we see some evidence of that happen, we're not necessarily looking for the opportunity just yet. Equally, we could very much sell off from here and see a big swing down, just like we did last time. Really big swing from that high as well. But since we are consolidating to kind of really maximize the probability of that happening, I would say wait for the consolidation to break out If you can see a strong candle close like that to the downside, breaking through support, it doesn't necessarily have to be that big, but just a convincing candle breaking the low. After that, there probably would be a very high chance that we just continue that momentum back down into the lows there at 1.601, that level of support. So I would say that looks like a really good short should price break the consolidation to the downside. Likewise, if you do see a strong candle close above something like this, then that probably will give us a strong sign to say that, okay, probably coming back into resistance up here. And that's where you're looking to target next. So again, pullbacks in the lower time frames will look good to trade it back into the high there at 1.708. But the way I see the market right now for Euro Aussie, just a very choppy market. We've got a few big levels to look at, but really the way the market is moving is just fluctuating between support and resistance. So mark out the big levels where prices had some major turning points and use those as your reference points. And these three levels is kind of what I'll be looking at. At the moment, very, very choppy price action, but should we see a strong break at the low, that for me is a very strong bearish signal, and we're likely to end up back at support. So pullbacks on an intraday time frame would look good. Likewise, if you do break to the upside, we're probably going to push back to the next level there, 1.7088. So again, breaking retest look good, but right now in the middle there, it's difficult to kind of gauge what price is going to do next. So I'd wait for us to clear the high and the low, and then hopefully we can use that to our advantage. But yeah, not my favorite pair. Still very, very choppy. Dark Sean went to make a coffee and missed a new. Oh, that's unfortunate, my man. Missed a new entry on GJ 1030 retest. That must. Yeah, I mean that's one of the downside about the lower time frames as well, that you blink and you miss it sometimes. Like with the 4 hour chart, like I see my setups like 2 weeks in advance. So I can make about 200 coffees and still still not miss the setup. But then again, the main advantage of the low time frames is that you get your profits and your losses quicker as well. I might have to make um might have to wait a very long time for me to get my profits, whereas on the 5 minute chart, in a few candles and within the same session, you're done and dusted for the day as well. So everything's got its pros and cons, but yeah, that is unfortunate, my man. I'll take a look at that in a second as well. Um, oh, okay, you're in Aussie. Okay, Aussie yen as well. So you're shorting both Aussie yen and Swiss yen. Holy one. I mean, yeah, wasn't your CHF JPY trade because you entered early in the week? I'm pretty sure you are up here somewhere, like at the top end of that consolidation. So it's a decent move, to be honest. It's a decent move. I mean, pips wise, you're probably looking at, I'm not too sure exactly where you entered, but roughly maybe 200 pips there, which is a pretty decent move. Of course, the yen pairs have a lot of pips about them, but 200 pips is a decent little swing there. I know for CHF JPY, at least looking for a push into that low there, 168.5, or was it this low here? Okay, yeah. Until sell more, so back in. Okay. So you're still looking to take it down. So yeah, I'm still looking to see if I can jump into CHF JPY as well. I like the swing we just had. Really nice aggressive swing, showing a lot of momentum. So I would expect to see more downside now for CHF JPY and the other yen pairs as well. In terms of pound JPY, let's see the move darkish on. Sacrificed a coffee for. Okay, it is pushing down, and it still might come up. It's looking pretty corrective on the way down. Are you still looking for entries, Dark Sean, or is it like it's missed, so you're not looking for any entries anymore, and that's you done, or that's you done to the New York session? But it's not necessarily moving down with a lot of momentum, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do push up one more time, and that could still give you an entry there. So yeah, although you probably would have missed the original entry, but it might still come back up in your favor. So yeah, I would keep an eye on that, or kind of move your coffee machine closer to your computer. Okay, I think wait for New York. Yeah, it's probably best because London's kind of over with right now. So yeah, in terms of momentum, probably not going to see. Of course, you can get momentum between the New York and London session, but yeah, it's probably going to pick up prime time during New York anyway. Okay, so let me go through some of the other crosses before I forget. So Euro Aussie, I said more consolidation. Same thing for UNSD as well. Um, Again, I don't necessarily mind these consolidation because they're really big ranges. So should we see a breakout, there could be some monstrous swings from these guys. So of course you got the higher the range there, which price is kind of dancing in between, and then you got the consolidation here as well. So if we could see a strong break of that to the downside, that could be a nice bearish signal that okay, we're about to tank. I'll probably keep an eye on the 50% of the range there, just as a nice rough guide of equilibrium, just to keep that in mind. I think if you can get a strong break of the consolidation like this, I think some shorts back to the 50 actually make a lot of sense. Whether we of course see the full swing back down there again is a bit more optimistic. It could very much happen, but you do have a much safer bet that price will get to the 50. And again, if you can refine your entries on the lower time frames, say we do see a strong break, you can probably still get a decent risk to reward, back into the 50, and call it a day there. But yeah, in my book, Euro NZD doing pretty much exactly what Euro Aussie is doing, just more consolidation at a decent level in the daily chart. Should we see a strong break of that to the downside, I think that would be a nice indication of a sell-off, and pullbacks intraday look good, and I'll probably be looking at that 50% as a target. Yes, I will go through Euro Pound, Henry. I'm just going through some of the crosses, but yeah, we'll take a look at Euro Pound for you. Okay, take care. Will, have a good one, my man. Have a good weekend as well. Hopefully, we'll catch you next week. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Appreciate everyone who has dropped a like, subscribed. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. In terms of Euro Pound, I'll take a look at this one first. So yeah, Euro Pound looking pretty bearish. Again, I do have two setups for this one sell, one buy. I was speaking about the sells all the way up here for the retest of this level of support, and looking for price to come back into this area. That was the plan there for Euro Pound. However, as we can see, we kind of just missed that level there. We kind of wicked just below, and now we're looking pretty bearish. But I do have a bullish setup, which I'm keeping an eye for, which is on the retest of this lovely level of support, which we did have a really strong break, but we never came back to retest. I was originally looking for a break and retest over here when we had this big move, but we just kept pushing to the upside. And now it looks like we might actually be seeing that retest. And that's the one thing I said about Euro Pound, is that this pair, although it's a very choppy pair and it does kind of take its time, it does give pretty big pullbacks. So even though it give a big breakout, it will actually give a big pullback as well. So never want to kind of rule that one out too much. That's true as well for Aussie New Zealand dollar as well. It does give really big pullbacks. Euro USD sometimes does that as well, but typically if you see a breakout that big, the chance of us coming back to retest are pretty slim. Whereas Euro Pound will actually give you those bigger pullbacks as well. So it looks like we are going to come back for that retest. So 0.832 is something I'm considering for a buy. Now, would I look to target back up there again? Probably not, but I think I will look to lock in some gains and just trail stops to see if we can get there. So if we do get there, brilliant. Because after all, we are in a really big level of monthly support still. which is this area here. So again, if we're going to hold this level, there could still be a lot of upside in the next coming days, weeks, and months here for euro pound. So I like the buys, but not quite at that area just yet. So a bit more downsides, probably a bit more of a setup for next week. Or indicates matching for BTC buy as well now, but don't trade it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't look to trade Bitcoin either. But in fairness, I probably will start to add Bitcoin to the watch list, to be honest. I don't know when, because I'm probably going to add oil and other US indices first before I do add Bitcoin. But at some stage, I probably will look to add Bitcoin as well, just to add a bit of diversification. I probably won't trade it actively. I'll probably take maybe like 2 trades a year on Bitcoin, because there will be some really nice opportunities, as kind of every market will give you. It will give you a really nice opportunity that fits your plan very, very well. And it would just be, too good to not take the trade. So those opportunities, which will happen on average, a couple times a year, a few times a year, I don't see a reason why I should not take it if I do spot it. So probably look to add Bitcoin to my trading list at some point, but before that, I'll add oil and a few more indices. 23 candles late and use 30 buys. It's pulled off already. Yeah, I suppose that's when the indices are in the buy mode. They just take off. Have you created new all-time highs yet? Oh, we're trying to. Not quite yet. So yeah, US 30 looking very bullish as well. Very, very bullish. And again, like I said, from my testing for US 30, this one, once it's in its bullish mode, especially because I trade off the 4-hour time frame, it's very, very difficult to find a decent pullbacks on the 4-hour chart. Once we do get into this mode and we just grind higher, the way to trade US 30 on the 4-hour time frame is to kind of be a bit more aggressive and try and catch the bigger pullbacks, like these moves here, and try and catch the lows. Although they can be a bit more aggressive, but the thing about US 30 is that if you do catch them well, the risk to reward and the upside is very, very high, much higher than typically in FX pairs. If you catch a swing well, this could rip to the upside for a number of weeks. So it's although a little bit more aggressive to catch, but again, risk to reward there. Let's say you've got an entry on that bullish engulfing candle, stop loss below the low, that swing to that high. I'm not saying you probably exit right at the top there, but that's a 1 to 7 there. So 1 to 7 is a lot harder to find on Euro USD, for example, because we kind of chop around a lot. But there's a lot of those moves there for US 30. So yeah, now that we're in that kind of bullish mode, looks like we're about to take up the highs. Then let's see what US 30 does next. I expect a bigger pullback at some stage, but we might trend to the upside maybe for a few more days first before we see the next bigger pullback. But overall, still very, very bullish. Yeah, I mean, I had that same kind of find as well when I was testing US 30, because the way I look for pullbacks on FX, I'm looking for those kind of steady kind of corrections, and then for the trend to continue. But with US 30, you kind of had 2 distinct phases. We have the phase where price is really, really bullish, like right now, and we kind of see very, very choppy pullbacks. I mean, not choppy pullbacks, but frequent but very minuscule. Very minuscule. And the way price pullbacks as well, it kind of like dips down and it kind of shoots off again. Where if FX, we take our time a little bit more. We do that as well sometimes, but it kind of can take a time a little bit, then it pushes off. Whereas US 30, from my findings, kind of just does that. So in terms of kind of waiting for like those pullbacks or whatever, break of structure, they do happen from time to time, but way less frequent than FX. So you find you miss a lot of moves. And again, that's just from how I trade and my findings. I'm sure you probably have some unique findings as well. But the way I see it is that in terms of my style, I need to be a bit more aggressive in terms of buying, which probably means it will take a few more losses. But because of the way price trades and how I'll manage my trade, it will make up for it as well. But yeah, I've found a few things as well. Okay, with the MA's lag, overcome that lag better for FX. Yeah, I mean, I think that's because you've got a lot more experience with FX as well. So you kind of developed a tuning with the FX markets, whereas indices a little bit more different. A little bit more different. Take some time getting used to. But I think trading indices is just a good market to look at as well because it's a different style of market to FX. FX is a bit more neutral. Of course, FX has its trends, but if you look at the monthly chart, price hasn't really gone anywhere for decades. Whereas, of course, indices, we do trends. So it's nice to have that kind of contrast, especially if you only trade FX and especially if you're a swing trader as well. Anyway, let me go through the rest of the crosses. So we had a look at pound Aussie early in the stream. Pound NZD still pretty bullish on this one as well, but again didn't quite test my level, unfortunately. And our price is looking pretty bullish. So we had the high there. I was looking for price to come back and retest it. This one missed it by a bit of a margin there. Pound Aussie just missed it, but pound NZD didn't come quite close, to be honest. And it's looking pretty bullish as well. So, as I said, for pound Aussie, the only area that makes sense for buys now would actually kind of be the consolidation here. Um, a retest of that consolidation and then some buys. Because if that is going to be a higher low, then you wouldn't expect price to go and break the low now. So respecting that consolidation looks good. And if you are going to continue the trend, then a push back to the highs at 2.23753 makes the most sense there. So pound NZD very, very bullish on this one. Again, the main reason for that is because we have a pretty clean trend in the higher time frames. Very, very consistent higher highs and higher lows, as we can all see. So as long as these higher lows stay intact, that's what keeps me bullish. And it looks like we might have printed the next one there at 2.17. Of course, it's not confirmed yet because we haven't created a new high. But that's the thing about trading, always anticipating highs and lows to form. And it looks like that might be the next one. I was looking for it to come a little bit further down to retest the level there, but unfortunately for me, we didn't quite do that. Now we're looking pretty bullish. So the next best setup would be some corrections in the lower time frames, maybe the retest of the range there, and then hopefully we can at least trade it back to the high here. Don't have to necessarily trade it all the way there, but if we can catch a bounce into the high, that would look good. And we can go from there. I'll be looking to trail stops anyway, so we'll see how far we can take it. But pound NZD does look like a nice setup there. AUD NZD, I do have a setup for this one, but again, it's taking its sweet time to actually develop. I'm looking for the retest of the low here for potentially a big head and shoulder pattern. So if I take this across, I'm not head and shoulder, sorry. A big double bottom pattern here for a retest of that low, and then again for a big buy. If we are going to continue this uptrend, so of course you got the low down here, you got the high, you got the higher low, you got the higher high, so on and so forth. So again, the plan is to look for the next higher low, which may already be printed here. But the way price is moving, we've had a really tough time trying to break through resistance here on the left. Kind of got this curved price action here. The price has really failed to break through the high. I do expect to see a move down. And if we can get a move back down into this area, I've got some really nice confluence here with the prior low, with the trend line. And I'm pretty sure we got to pull back into the zero point 0.5, or was it the 0.618? Yeah, 0.618, right, smack bang on that level there as well. So if I can see price pull back into that level, I've got a lot of confidences there. Of course, if I see the price action in terms of the entries I'm looking for, wicks, bullish engulfing candles, I'll find my entry. And the good thing about this is that it could go pretty far. And the good thing as well is that typically we have seen some nice price action with the buys recently in terms of the speed and the ease of moving to the upside. You can see there, pretty nice swing as well. Here it was pretty corrective in the last move. Did see a nice move there. So hopefully we can see something similar there as well, because the worst thing is to get caught in some buys here for Aussie New Zealand dollar and it's kind of just consolidating for forever on you. But I think the swap is positive if you're buying. So that won't be the worst situation to be in. If you're paying swaps, then yeah, it's not great. But I need to double check that if the swaps are positive. But even that, I don't think the swaps would be much because Aussie and New Zealand dollar, their rates are pretty similar as well. So even if it is negative, it might not be too much. But yeah, as setup, I'm looking there. In terms of the C-Chef pairs, again, I haven't really been focused on these guys too much. I think New Zealand C-Chef is still one of my favorite ones. Pound C-Chef I like as well, but that's just still in the middle of the consolidation. So it's just being a tough watch, really. Yes, I will take a look at dollar CAD. You can request any pair. If it's not my watch list, doesn't really matter. Of course, I will share my watch list of what I'm looking at. But if you do want me to take a look at a certain pair, just drop it down in the chat and I'll take a look. But I will go through dollar CAD. And that goes for, of course, anyone on the stream. If you do want me to take a look at a certain pair you're looking at, and also a certain time frame you're looking at as well, because I know we probably have a wide range of traders here, from lower time frames to higher time frames. So let me know if there's a particular time frame as well. But yeah, let me just go through New Zealand CHF, and I'll take a look at dollar CAD for you. So yeah, with New Zealand CHF, I'm pretty bearish on this one. We do have lovely support here on the left, which is now flipped as resistance. And again, the beauty of New Zealand CHF is that this market is just bearish on numerous time frames. The market has been falling out the sky for forever. So again, as a swing trader by default, I would be bearish on this market most of the time. Of course, there will be some times to buy it 100%, but not now, especially when we're still forming consecutive lower highs as well, and of course lower lows. So the plan is, where is that next lower high going to form? It might have already formed there, although I would like to see one more push to the upside so we can go tag that level. So something like this would be nice for New Zealand CHF, another push up again, and then the sell, because this move has been so corrective, which tells me it's most likely a pullback. You very rarely see a reversal that kind of looks like this, as corrective as this. Market that's having such a tough time to push in one direction, hence why it's so corrective, most of the time does end up in price dropping to the downside. The tricky part is just catching that timing well, because we could fall at any point. Price might fall now, might push up one more time, give me my entry, then fall, or it might have a slightly bigger push and then fall. So it's always, and of course, how far does it fall? Sometimes it doesn't fall the whole way before turning back up again. And of course, trading just a probability game as well. But yeah, that's really what I'm looking at for New Zealand CHF. But what gives me the confidence is that we're still trading below massive resistance on the daily chart, and this is still fairly corrective. So I do expect us to have a pretty big drop there. So keep an eye on dollar CAD. Dollar CAD. I've got dollar CAD on my brain now. On New Zealand CHF. Then I just hit the mic. Anyway, in terms of dollar CAD, again, it's been very choppy, a lot of consolidation for this one, but it does look like price is trying to break to the upside. Of course, we had that insane wick to the upside yesterday, but I did say I do think there's a good chance that that wick fills. Essentially, for dollar CAD, I'm looking for a break me test of the high here, so I'm waiting for price to really clear this level here. It looks like we are getting some type of break me test now, but it's not clear cut, especially when a few candles ago we left a massive wick to the upside. So it does kind of diminish the quality of the setup there. So I would want to see price kind of show me a bit more evidence of a breakout, then consider some pullbacks for some buys. In terms of where I think we're going, if we do break to the upside, is right back to the resistance here. Massive resistance on the weekly chart here. Massive rejection back in 2016. Another big one there in 2020. And we're not too far off another test of that high. So I do expect to see another third test of that level. And yeah, if we do break to the upside outside this range, that's probably where we're going to end up at, roughly around 1.46300, we'll call it. So yeah, pretty bullish on dollar CAD, looking for something like this. Of course, if we fail to break the high and we come back down again, then there is the opportunity to the downside should the market break out the consolidation lower, which of course is still very much a possibility. Then we're looking at some shorts. And again, in terms of targets, I do like this weekly level of resistance here, major resistance. that's probably where we're going to break to if we do break to the downside. So really, dollar CAD is just a waiting game, waiting for us to commit in one direction, and then there likely will be opportunities and some pullbacks afterwards. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. How do you want if New Zealand CHF breaks 5112? I'll sell. Okay, let me take a look at that. I'm doing Chris. Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is NFP next week? It is the first Friday of the month, but of course sometimes they do the second Friday. Okay, yeah, NFP is next Friday. Just checking. Anyway, I'll go take a look at that New Zealand CHF opportunity. What's up, Farah Garms? Welcome to the stream. Garms. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. Thank you. Yes, we'll take a look at USDR for you, no problem. So, Holy One, you said you're looking for some shorts if 5112 breaks. Where is that level? 5112. Okay, so that's support level there. If that breaks, looking to short. Yeah, I'd imagine so, because we're kind of moving this channel here. And if price is going to break outside of that channel there, maybe it is time that we do see that drop. Impulse correction, impulse pattern. So yeah, and I know that you do like your breaks of your moving averages. So yeah, if price does clear support there, it'll clear the trend line as well, and that probably will give us that continuation at least back to the lows here. But I would expect us to end up here eventually. So yeah, pretty bearish in New Zealand CHF. If that support and that trend line breaks as well, I'll be pretty bearish too and expect price to drop. I wouldn't be expecting price to get back up there anymore, that's for sure. So yeah, naturally speaking, the market is still trending to the downside. So if we're going to break that kind of trend line, it's a strong indication of more downside. Okay, and if you get your fourth confirmation, yeah. Again, when I go through setups as well, yeah, everything is hypothetical because I could get a setup form, but the entry might not be right, so that I won't take the trade. Although price may be in an area which I said I'm looking to buy from, because maybe the way price got there, the way price is looking at that area, it might not be quite ticking my box as well, so I don't take the position. And maybe some trades I say I'm not really interested in because the price action isn't looking too good, but fast forward 24 hours, 48 hours, things could look a lot better and I get a really nice entry signal and things look good to take the trade. So, a lot of opportunities are very hypothetical, and if things look good at the time, that's the thing with discretionary trading. You're very much keeping an eye with market price action. Things may suddenly look good, things may suddenly look bad, which stops you from taking a trade or what makes you take a trade. If you have a mechanical system, then of course everything's black and white. A plus B equals C. You're taking the trade. But discretionary, you take into consideration a few things, and sometimes you get confirmation, sometimes you don't. You judge the price at the time of the trade, and things look good, you set your orders, or you take the trade. But things can change quickly in the FX markets and markets in general. Anyway, let me take a look at USDZAR. That's good to hear, Chris. Good to hear, my man. USDZAR. So with this one, USDZAR. Last time I took a look at USDZAR, I think we were trading around there. We're looking pretty bullish, weren't we? I think we got the nice breaking test of the high there, or was it before then? Can't remember. I think we were over there somewhere. But anyway, the last time I spoke about USDZAR, I said looking for essentially the breaking test of there we go, of this level, and we have seen a nice reaction. Of course, at the moment we have to watch out because we are still putting in these lower highs with USDZAR. So you got one over there, second there, third there, fourth there. Is this going to be another one? Potentially. And if so, we could actually go for a really big sell. So we're in an area where we could really turn around. Of course, we're still in areas where we could buy from, hence these higher lows, 1, 2, 3, and of course before there as well. So it's the battle of the highs really and the lows. Is price going to go and take out structure here and get that big breakout? Or is price now going to roll over, start taking out structure there to the downside and get us that move to move back to the lows there? Really, it's difficult to say which way price is going to go because, of course, we're not fortune tellers here. Of course, you can predict away, but the best way to trade, in my opinion, is always being vigilant to both ways of the market because things can change pretty quickly, and you want to be able to take advantage of price moving in any direction. So um, the way I look at it is, if the market is going to sell off, where's a good place to sell? If the market is going to buy, where's a good place to buy? As I suggested last week or whenever I looked at it, this is a nice place to buy. Breaking retest for the prior high, a healthy pullback. I think we pulled back into the 0.5 of the fib there, and of course continuing with these higher lows. So that was always a nice place to buy. And nice place to sell was back at the high there because we had the trendline confluence coming into play, connecting these highs up. So naturally speaking, if the market's going to hold, that's going to be a nice place to sell. Now we're kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place. Is support going to hold or is the trend line going to hold? Difficult to say. If we do start breaking through support now, then that will become a nice place to short from and some pullbacks. And then you're probably expecting price to end up right back at these lows here at 17. So you're just looking for the pullbacks afterwards, breaking retests on the way down. Of course, we'll talk a bit more about that when that happens. But in terms of the shorts, if we are going to put another high in, just like we did over there, and over there as well, then we need to start breaking through support, and then we can start talking about the lower highs and some shorts. If we are going to break to the upside, then let's see evidence of this high getting taken out. And then, of course, we're going to continue this. Let me just clean up the chart there. It's looking very messy. If we are going to break to the upside, then let's break through the high there, of course. And then we can start talking about another break and retest and some buying opportunities on the top of that. And of course, targets back at the high there on the left, just like we did over here, just like we did over there as well. The market likes a bit of a break and retest here for USDR. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USDR because we're stuck in an area where we could sell off, but also we're testing areas where we are seeing numerous higher lows. So in terms of buys, if you're in a buy here, that's great. You can already lock in some profit and see what price does next. If price does keep pushing, that's lovely profits for you. If price does roll over, probably stop out break even or a small win. And if you do clear support, then you flip the bias around and you start looking to short again. So that's really what I'll be looking for USDR. As for which way I think prices can go, yeah, it's 50-50. I mean, I would be bullish because that's where the trend is pointing, but we still could have one more correction first. So yeah, if you're looking to buy, see if a price comes back and retest the level again, or you wait for price to clear the high. If you're looking to sell, see if a price comes back into the resistance again, or we wait for that support to break. Then you look to short. So yeah, that's kind of where I'll be with USDR. But support is still holding, so this could be a nice buy should price get there again. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USDR. Hopefully that made sense. Lauder, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. Any markets you're looking at? I know you do like your yen pairs and your indices, but yen pairs have been a bit choppy, but they've picked up some momentum recently, so you might see some moves there. Pound CHF, again, that CHF pair I do like. If we can break out the range, of course, the range is looking absolutely crazy right now. How long have we been in the range for? Since 26th of September, we create that first high. So quite a few months. What's up, Flexi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. So yeah, it's been a choppy one for pound CHF. I'm still looking for the big break to the downside, which is back to these lows here, 1.07828. Still very much the plan I have for pound CHF. But again, there's only two ways I could possibly look to trade that bias. Number one, I look to short the high here. Or number two, I wait for the breakout and look to shorten the retest. Doesn't necessarily have to be the retest of the range low. It could be a break and retest somewhere else, but just waiting for price to break the consolidation to the downside. So I have to wait for either or really. Right now, we're not doing either, so there's nothing for me to do here. But yeah, it's just been a tough watch because we've been consolidating for numerous months now. So if we do get back to the high, I'll see what we can do. If we can get a bit of a fake out, maybe that will give me the enthusiasm to take the trade. Because the reason why I took the last position, because we did have a bit of a fake out, so that gave me some extra confidence for the shorts. So if we can do another one, I probably will look to get involved. Otherwise, I think I'll just wait for the consolidation. There's other markets I'm looking at, so it's not like I have to wait for this to break out. I'm trading other markets as I wait. But yeah, pound CHF, I do like the shorts eventually when it does come around. Lauder took a short on EU. Okay, nice. I'm pretty bearish in Euro USD as well from 1.03964. Let's have a quick look. Okay, I mean, Euro USD is looking bearish at the moment. So he took a short from 1.03964. Okay, so somewhere around there. Let me mark on the chart. Nice little intraday setup there. So what's the plan for the trade, Lauder? Do you have a particular target in mind, or are you trading stops, or let me know how you're looking to manage that one? Because I'm looking to see if price can get back to the low here, which of course is very, very far away. And I probably wouldn't expect you to be looking to target that low because of how far it is, and knowing that you probably have an intraday setup, maybe your stop loss is probably above the wick high there. So yeah, I think having targets down there will be a bit aggressive. I mean, it's doable. You probably have a massive risk to reward, probably like a 1 to 10 probably or something like that. But I probably would say look to bank some partial along the way if you're looking for such a big move, because there's a good chance price could turn against you. But I'm looking for a push there anyway. It doesn't look like price is going to come back and retest the high. That was kind of my plan for the week, to see if we can form that double top and get the shorts up there. I was looking for the same on the DXY, but that's looking pretty bullish now as well. So I think the next best opportunity for the dollar is some continuation, pullbacks, retest of the high somewhere, retest of the low somewhere, and look to take some opportunities like that back into the low. And as for the dollar, same situation with that one as well. Probably looking for some pullbacks like this now. I did say I was looking for the retest of the low there, but I don't know. I feel like maybe that wick early in the week is price trying to make that move but failed. So now these are the opportunities I would have to consider. And yeah, probably Euro USD will do the same thing. Hold that. I need another confirmation, which is a deep price drop. Then I can get involved. Okay. But if we're already in, may as well hold. True. I mean, again, the beauty of risk management is that as long as you can control your risk, you kind of just let your reward take care for itself. So especially when you're in a market that's already trending in one direction and you're in that trend, you don't know, possibly that might continue to new lows or new highs and continue a lot further as well. I mean, if I was in the trade, I would probably just hold as well. I mean, that's what I'd do anyway. But I do still see price getting back to the low. Okay, do before the market close. Yeah, I mean, since it's an intraday position, it might be a bit tricky to hold over the weekend. Not because we shouldn't, but again, intraday, especially we've seen a lot of gaps recently as well. which is a bit weird. But we've seen a lot of gaps as well. So you don't want to get in a situation where you get gapped and price gaps above your stop loss, and you take a bigger loss than it than you need to. But of course, then again, it could gap in your direction. That's the thing with trading. It can go both ways. It can harm you or hurt you. As long as you're not betting your whole account, it should be fine. Even if price does gap against you, let's say if you're risking 1%, maybe you lose 2 or 3. Again, it is recoverable. Not ideal, of course, but recoverable. But yeah, I think before the end of the day, probably give a little decision on that one. No problem, Ferrogams. Happy to help. Holy one, I think Lord is a she. Lord is a fellow female trader representing for us. Any thoughts on the JPY pairs, Mr. Entry in Euro short, Euro short yesterday? Okay, yeah, I'll take a look. Yeah, so Euro Yen, I'm pretty bearish on as well, but we've come back into support. So from a 4-hour standpoint, it doesn't look as great to short right now. I'm waiting for 160 to break here. So once we can break through that, then yeah, I'm back in business. Because the way I see Euro Yen right now is that we've just been up and down fluctuating, and this support level held once, twice, a third time, and a fourth time at the moment as well. So it's a really steady level of support. Should it break, it probably will take us back down to the low here at 156.43. So I'm pretty bearish in Euro Yen. And if that support breaks, I'm looking for pullbacks, preferably a retest of that same level, and then hopefully a push back into that low, and then a push back into that low. Because as I've been saying for a while, with the yen pairs, Euro Yen especially, I do think we'll eventually take out this low and really get a big sell. And again, the way I see it, this looks like a big head and shoulder pattern to me. So left shoulder, head, and right shoulder there as well. So yeah, pretty bearish on Euro Yen. I do expect a lot more downside. And in terms of an opportunity, it would have to break 160 for me to get interested. Otherwise, we might bounce and do something like this again. So that's kind of really where I'm at. So yeah. Lately, I see flames on my swings. What does that mean? I mean, the thing is, I know you take intraday setups, so I know you like to take intraday and then potentially maximize that with a swing trade, so you can get some decent risk reward, which is the benefit, of course, entering the lower time frames. If you can hold that for longer, you don't have to have such a big move to get a nice little 1 to 4, 1 to 5. I can come around pretty easily. The downside about entering on the 4-hour time frame, which is what I do, it does take a little bit of a while to get to the 1 to 5s and plus, because if your stop loss is 100 pips, you need a 500 pip move for a 1 to 5, which is not too difficult on the yen pairs. You could see a 500 pip move within a week pretty easily, to be honest. But of course, on like Euro USD, you're not going to see that happen easily. But then again, I probably won't have 100 pip stop loss on Euro either. But yeah, that's the benefit of using the lower time frames. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Euro Yen, pretty bearish on this one as well. Euro USD, pretty bearish as well. I think just keep an eye on that one. We do have some news in the afternoon, Lauder, for USD. I think there's PC in the afternoon, so I'll keep an eye on that. But I do have a pretty bearish bias for Euro USD too. I think Pound USD, the most likely opportunity for me to take a trade, really, on the double top there. If not, then we'll look at some of the intraday opportunities there. But again, for these USD pairs, I do still see more downside. I like Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar as well. But again, I need a push back to the high. It looks like Aussie dollar's not going to give that to me. New Zealand dollar's not as far away, but if it's going to follow the same trajectory as Aussie dollar, it's probably not going to give me that pullback either. But again, that's kind of what I'm looking to do. Take some shorts off that high, Nice little place for a stop loss. Yeah, healthy target but down at the lows, looking at pretty good risk to reward. And again, it's nice to know that higher time frames, things are still pretty bearish there for New Zealand dollar, still dropping pretty hard. And I do expect these lows to be taken out pretty soon as well. So yeah, very, very bearish for New Zealand dollar. Very, very bearish for New Zealand dollar. And the other USD pairs, but I'm not too sure if I'll find the entries I'm looking for. True, that's a good point. I think in general, if you're looking to hold your trades a little bit longer, just try and focus on the higher time frame. Not necessarily you have to buy at a higher time frame level, but just trade in that direction really. Because it's always difficult to pinpoint exactly where low is going to form to a 5 pip to a 5 pip stop loss. So I wouldn't say you're not necessarily looking to catch like a weekly high or low or a weekly low or high for 10 pip stop loss. I think that's a bit far-fetched there. But if you're just trading that direction by default, again, not all the time as well. Sometimes counter trend opportunities give you some nice opportunities, but most of the time, if you're going to be looking to hold positions a little bit longer, if you know you've got the higher time frame backing, like for gold, for example, gold's been absolutely flying. If you can just focus on some buys there, intraday opportunity, who knows, price could absolutely fly and keep going as well. So that's really the benefit of following the higher time frames. Yeah, exactly. 10 pip stop loss on the weekly. You'd be surprised how many people look to do that. You'd be surprised how many people try and look to do that for the sniper entries. It's just a load of rubbish, really. I mean, in terms of just absolute, just logic. It doesn't make any sense having a 10 pip stop loss on a weekly chart. You're going to have like 95 losses and then 5 winners. But of course, the 5 winners might make up for the 95 losers. But then again, it's not really a healthy way to trade it in general, even if it is a profitable outcome. So yeah, again, you want to be realistic with your entries, realistic with your stop losses as well. Give yourself some peace of mind as well. There's nothing wrong with having a 10 pip stop loss. But it needs to be realistic. And that means you're probably trading like the 5-minute chart or probably the 1-minute chart, really, if you're going to have a 10 pip stop loss. But yeah, you're not going to be catching a weekly swing of a 10 pip, at least not consistently either. But yeah, New Zealand dollar looking pretty bearish, so going to keep looking to find some shorts with these ones. But yeah, have to stay patient there. In terms of my watch list, dollar yen, I'm still looking for buys, but the price action isn't looking as clean. As I said, I want to see price wick through that low there and maybe look for a slightly better or a stronger shift in momentum. We've got these numerous lower highs stacking up, and price is kind of just squeezing in here between those lows and this trend line there as well. So although we might push up, it doesn't quite fit my plan well. So I'm staying on the sidelines right now. It is in my area where I do expect to bounce. So if we can develop a little bit further, then hopefully something could form, maybe later today, but most likely next week. But I am looking for this move here for dollar yen. As I said, pound USD, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, all those pairs I'm looking for shorts. New Zealand CAD, I'm looking for downside as well. Still trading at a really nice area where we could sell off from. So again, looking at these lower highs, 1, 2, 3. I have no idea what that one's doing up there. And possibly number 4 as well. I like how we've moved. It's very, very corrective. Not really something you will consider as a reversal. More of a characteristic of a pullback. So likelihood is that we do drop at some point. And again, coming into that trend line is a likely place we will do that. Also, tapping into this area of consolidation on the left. A lot of consolidation, strong move to the downside. Coming back into that zone there as well. And of course, I'm pretty sure we're lining up pretty well with the fib of the 0.618. So there's some really nice confluence there for New Zealand CAD. And to me, that gives me a nice indication that we could see some downside. And of course, we've already broken through some daily structure on the left. This was our last swing low, which gave us this swing high. That structure has now been invalidated. So that's another sign that, okay, we're probably going to keep falling. If we were going to put a higher low in and tick to the upside, we should have probably respected that low. The fact that we didn't indicates more downside. So yeah, pretty bearish on New Zealand CAD, waiting for a strong shift of momentum. I like the wick there, of course, off the back of the CAD news. We wicked to the upside pretty aggressively, so I like that. Any earlier trades with stops above there would be probably out the trade there. And now that we've had that wick, I'm kind of looking for some momentum now. Maybe I get it in the next 4-hour candle. We'll have to see, but I am looking for a short back into the low. And yeah, that's mainly the pairs I'm looking at. CHF pair is not quite ready yet. New Zealand CAD, dollar yen are the only two kind of at my area right now. And of course, if the yen pairs can keep up, break through some support, I think I could be looking at them next week. So we'll keep a close eye during the New York session for that. Appreciate it. I appreciate it, everyone. We'll catch you next week, my man. But guys, we have come to the end of the stream. Really do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, chatting with me, dropping messages, liking the stream, subscribing does really help out. So I do really appreciate that. And of course, hit the bell whilst you're at it so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Also at the top of the chat. Chat with other traders, chat with myself, find out a little bit more about Elevating Trades there as well. And of course, you can share setups there, see what I'm looking at, what other people might be looking to trade as well. And of course, you can share what you're looking to do as well. So if you're interested, go check it out. Completely free to join. But guys, appreciate you tuning in for another week with me. Again, next week we'll be live again. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, say hi. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And yeah, guys, on your way out, drop a like and subscribe. But guys, have a great weekend, great day. And I'll catch you all in the new week.